Hello and welcome to Markets Today, the show where we track 6 hours of the day's trading action in 5 headlines. I'm Sonia Shanoy and here are the headlines for the day. Dalal Street ends with minor gains. The Nifty and the Sensex gain 0.25%. Banks lead from the front. Broader markets outperform. Reliance Chairman Mukesh Ambani expresses confidence in creating value multiple times greater in the coming decade than over the past 45 years. He also tasks himself with grooming the next gen to lead the conglomerate. The flagship O2C business, the new energy business, the retail juggernaut are all expected to contribute significantly to this end. Jio brand takes center stage with Chairman Mukesh Ambani scripting a path for the digital business far beyond telecom to delivering AI to everyone, everywhere. Also charts the future of the recently listed Jio Financial Services into asset management and insurance, besides making credit accessible to Bharat. The Reserve Bank flags rapid growth in unsecured lending by NBFCs in a recent meet with senior executives, asked companies to be aware of the risks associated and asked them to make adequate provisions. NBFC CEOs highlighted the role of fintech companies in driving the expansion. And new order wins help Bharat Electronics, Bharat Heavy Electronics and BEML gain new orders worth nearly 2,000 to 3,000 crore rupees coming through. Well, here's the lineup of what we have in store for you. It's a packed show today. In Market Opinion, we have Rahul Singh, who's the CIO Equities at Tata Mutual Fund. In Big Corporate Voices, Mukesh Ambani, the Chairman and Managing Director of Reliance Industries, will be speaking about the AGM and lots more coming up in the next half an hour. All right, on to the first headline now. The day's market action. The Dalal Street ended the day with minor gains. The Nifty and the Sensex gained a 0.25% actually. The broader markets outperformed the blue chips. Bank stocks led the Nifty higher, with the index gaining over 0.5%. The mid-cap index also saw healthy gains of 0.5%. Prashant is here to give us more details on all of that. Prashant.
Well, thanks. Thanks very much for that. So it was basically bang in the middle of the session by close. 50 points from the day's high on the Nifty and 50 points from the day's low as well. And we ended at 19,300. The day's high is 19,366 and the low is about 19,250. So, this is as middle of the range as it gets. Now, the market opened higher, not as strong as one would have thought looking at Friday's Wall Street close, but it was a higher start. The low was made early on in the session. At 9:30, the day's low was made. And then from 9:30 till about 2 p.m., the market kept recovering all the way. 2 o'clock was the day's high. But after 2 o'clock, all the way to close into 3:30, the market sold off and we basically ended with about a 40-odd point gain, which is 0.25%. Now, banks, as we've been pointing out for the last 3 or 4 days, is the stronger of the two indices. And the Bank Nifty far outperforming the Nifty, ending about 0.6% higher. Remember, the Nifty Bank closed positive for the last week as well. Mid-caps and small-cap, both indices will come up on your screen. Market breadth was looking very strong early in the morning, but that kind of narrowed, the gap narrowed. But this is very respectable in terms of closes. 0.5% on the mid-cap and 0.75% of the small-cap index, so nothing to complain. Just some stocks. So in the Nifty, the top gainers included names like Power Grid, L&T, and Mahindra. So really, these are the names which led from the front. But the action, as we've been pointing out for so many weeks now, is in the broader market. So just sample this. Indiabulls Housing Finance. This is the part of the market which went up the most with the maximum volumes. So Indiabulls Housing, GMDC, you had names like Railtel, Atul Auto was up 15-16% today, SJV, and there was Texmaco Rail, Jamna Auto. Something like Jayaprakash Associates came out of the blue, right? Almost 11 rupees now. Sirma, Gabriel, Greaves Cotton, Eveready Industries, Skipper, Dodla Dairy, Genus Power Limit up 10%. And there was something like a Stylum Industries which participated, and huge volumes, by the way. So small stocks, but volumes really stood out for many of them. Losses also, but far fewer in number. So Titagarh, Emphasis, Paras Defense. There was something like a Poonawalla FinCorp which sold off. Newgen and Global Spirits were under pressure. But, the list of gainers on volumes far longer than losers with volumes. It's back to watching global cues. We had a positive close on Wall Street on Friday, but the two issues are dollar is strong and yields still remain very high. Will that continue to be the case later today on Monday as well as we come back on Tuesday? I think that will determine things, at least in the very near term. Back to you.
All right, thanks a lot, Prashant, for that. That's how the market shaped up today. But in opinion coming through, Rahul Singh, the Chief Investment Officer, Equities at Tata Mutual Fund, is expecting a healthy consolidation phase in the market. He also added that he's constructive on small and mid-cap segment because that's where most of the revivals are happening. Take a look.
It's a continuation of what we have seen in the last 1.5 years, really, that the Indian economy is seeing a broader recovery than what we have seen earlier, even though we are not, nowhere near the heady days of 2006 to 8 of 8-9% GDP growth rate. I think 6-6.5% GDP growth rate with a broad-based growth is definitely something which is leading to a broader market movement and not just large caps. So therefore, we are constructive on small and mid also as a segment, because that's where most of the resurgence, or let's say the revival, seems to be happening. I think whatever we are seeing in the market is a healthy consolidation phase, I would think.
All right, healthy consolidation phase in the market. But on to the second headline now. Reliance Industries held its 46th annual general meeting today. Reliance Chairman Mukesh Ambani expressed confidence in creating value multiple times greater in the coming decade than over the past 45 years. He also tasked himself with grooming the next generation to lead the conglomerate higher. The flagship O2C business, the new energy business, the retail juggernaut are all expected to contribute significantly to this end.
I am supremely confident that the value that your company will create for all its stakeholders over the next decade will be multiple times greater than what it has generated over the past 45 years. With a heart overflowing with happiness, I welcome Isha, Akash and Anant to the Reliance board. And I call upon all of you, my dear shareholders, to extend your blessings and best wishes to Isha, Akash and Anant.
Okay, let's take a look at the big takeaways from Reliance AGM in case you missed out on them. The biggest takeaway is that Reliance has now put a firm succession plan into action. The company has recommended to appoint Isha Ambani, Akash Ambani and Anant Ambani on the board of directors. The second key announcement is from the telecom arm. Jio will launch the Jio Air Fiber, which is an ultra-high-speed 5G device, on the 19th of September. Reliance also says that global and strategic investors have shown strong interest in Reliance Retail. So that's another important takeaway. Coming to Jio Financial Services, that arm is all set to enter the insurance sector with global partners. And last but not the least, Reliance is betting big on the clean energy business. So let's first take a look at the big headline, which is the succession plan that has been put into place. Remember, Mukesh Ambani will continue to be chairman of the company for the next 5 years. Nisha joins in with all the details. Nisha.
Thanks for that. It's an important and a historic corporate development for India's large conglomerate Reliance Industries. And what company has done is announce the next set of leaders, and they are going to join the RIL's mothership board. So the board of Reliance Industries has proposed the induction of the next gen of the promoter group, Isha Ambani, Akash Ambani, as well as Anant Ambani on the board of Reliance Industries. Remember, it's also historic. And while making that announcement during the AGM, Mukesh Ambani was also emotional, and he reminisced his whole induction on the board of Reliance Industries way back in 1977. So one must note, after 46 years, the next generation is getting inducted on the conglomerate's mothership board, which is Reliance Industries. Also, as part of this particular announcement, Mukesh Ambani said that he will be really grooming the next set of leaders and institutionalizing and also strengthening the leadership, and did state that he will continue as the chairman and MD of Reliance Industries for 5 more years. As part of this overall board rejig, Neeta Ambani will be stepping down from the board of the company, but will continue as the chairperson of the Reliance Foundation. And as being the chairperson of Reliance Foundation, she will be a permanent invitee on all the board meetings of Reliance Industries. Now, this is definitely a new chapter in the succession and leadership planning for this particular conglomerate. Of course, the succession planning started a few years back, but the big announcements really came in last year when Akash Ambani was made the chairman of Reliance Jio, and also Isha Ambani and Anant Ambani were given the leadership positions in two new verticals, Reliance Retail as well as New Energy, respectively. So it's a new chapter in the succession planning and leadership and induction of the new gen on the board of Reliance Industries.
Okay, Nisha, thanks a lot for that. Very important there, succession plan being put into place. But let's take a look at the new energy business now. The chairman, Mukesh Ambani, announced that the company would deploy a committed capital of 75,000 crores into the new energy business. Sonal is joining in with the key highlights. Sonal, over to you.
Well, the new energy business continues to be the focus point for Reliance Industries, and this time they reiterated that they will deploy the committed capital of 75,000 crore rupees in this business, and they will continue to invest in technology, talent, and will collaborate with global technology and product companies as well. Not only that, they are also looking to include startup focused on commercializing emerging and disruptive technology. So technology is also going to be a big focus here. They are looking at installation of at least 100 gigawatt of renewable energy generation by 2030, which will include both solar and wind energy generation as well. Their priority now is to set up their battery giga factory by 2026, and they are looking at also setting up fully integrated automated giga scale electrolyzer manufacturing facility, which will be used to produce green hydrogen as well. They will establish a large scale green hydrogen production at Jamnagar, which will also integrate with the likes of green ammonia and green methanol production, both for the domestic and the international markets as well. Their target is also to establish 100 CBG plants or the biogas plants in the next 5 years, consuming 5.5 million tons of agro residue and organic waste as well. They also talk about having indigenous technology ownership and manufacturing capabilities for taking the stride forward in the new energy business, and that continues, again, as I said, the focus point of the company. In the oil and gas business, which is the E&P business, they have been doing really well on a quarterly basis, and that is something they expect to continue as well. They are on their way to enhance production to 30 MMSCMD, which will be 30% of India's gas production and 15% of the current demand as well. They also say that this gas will save up to $7 billion per annum in terms of import costs for the country. So that would be a big amount here. In the oil-to-chemicals business now, they are on journey to transition oil-to-chemicals business into sustainable and green integrated chemicals and materials business. The cost of renewables will be significantly lower versus the fossil fuel business, and that, of course, will be a trigger point as well. The target is to be among the top 3 players globally in the carbon fiber and carbon fiber reinforced plastic composites. So yes, a lot of targets in place, and they are hopeful of achieving it in the timeline that they had given earlier as well.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sonal, for that. Well, let's move on to the retail arm now. Mukesh Ambani is confident that Reliance Retail will be the fastest growing business with respect to revenues and EBITDA. Mangalam Malu joins in with more on that. Mangalam, over to you.
Well, there were rather interesting takeaways from Reliance's AGM on the retail front. The first one, of course, is that Reliance Retail is among the biggest global retailer in the world, in the top 100 for sure, and among the fastest growing as well. Importantly, the valuation driver of the company continues to drive valuation. In September 2020, when the first round of fundraisers happened in Reliance Retail, it was close to 4.28 lakh crores in terms of valuation. And the latest that came in from Qatar Investment Authority valued the company at around $100 billion, little around double of what we saw in September 2020 itself. But that's not all. There was a bit of a tease. And Mukesh Ambani did say that several global strategic and marquee investors are interested in Reliance Retail, and the details on that would be updated in due course of time. So does that mean there are more investments likely in Reliance Retail? We'll watch that space for more. But important numbers that were thrown around as well. 100 crore transactions this year, 78 crore footfalls in Reliance Retail, 25 crore registered customers, and digital and new commerce sales actually crossing 50,000 crores in the previous financial year as well. Importantly, Reliance Retail now serves 98% of the country's PIN code. So for the past few years, it has been the company's growth and valuation driver, and Mukesh Ambani reiterated that Reliance Retail will be our fastest growing business in terms of revenue and EBITDA.
Well, the third headline today, the Jio brand has taken centre stage with Chairman Mukesh Ambani scripting a path for the digital business far beyond telecom to delivering AI to everyone, everywhere. Jio Air Fiber will be launched on the 19th of September as well. Rima is standing by with the big announcements on Jio. Rima, over to you.
So the big announcement is that Jio Air Fiber will be available commercially for sale from the auspicious occasion of Ganesh Chaturthi. That's the 19th of September. Now, typically, when you want Wi-Fi at home, you will have an optic fiber which reaches home. There are last-mile connectivity issues. Instead, using Jio Air Fiber, you use the 5G network to get Wi-Fi-like services. Now, according to Reliance Jio, this increases their total addressable market considerably, and now they can tap nearly 200 million homes, and this will also lay the foundation for smart homes. The second big announcement is that Jio already has 50 million 5G customers, and they reiterated that Jio will have 5G coverage pan-India by December of this year. One of the other big takeaways is that Jio up until now was mostly known for its consumer services, right? Your 4G, 5G services, the connectivity, or your phones or your laptops. But now Jio is focusing a lot on enterprise business. They want to build enterprise connectivity business that mirrors the scale of its consumer business. So currently, Jio platform already provides a lot of digital services which goes beyond connectivity for all the Reliance Group companies, whether it's in telecom, whether it's in finance, whether it's in retail. But now they want to tap the other Indian conglomerates, other Indian businesses, and even go global on that front. And finally, they spoke a lot about Jio AI revolution. Now, if AI has to take off and India needs to be at the center stage of it, India needs digital infrastructure. And therefore, Reliance Jio plans to create 2,000 megawatts of AI-ready computing capacity across both cloud and edge locations. The statement by Mukesh Ambani is quite interesting. 7 years ago, Jio promised broadband connectivity to everyone, everywhere. We have delivered. Today, Jio promises AI to everyone, everywhere, and we shall deliver. So to quickly summarize the 5 frontiers for Jio's growth from here on: the consumer segment driven by Jio Bharat and Jio 5G, the home segment turbocharged by Jio Air Fiber, the business segment, the fourth one is Jio Platform's opportunity for global expansion, and the AI revolution.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. And on to the recently listed Jio Financial Services. Mukesh Ambani has charted the future roadmap for the company into asset management and insurance, besides making credit accessible to Bharat. Abhishek Kothari joins in with the key highlights. Abhishek, over to you.
Well, Jio Financial Services has been conceptualized to fill a critical gap in the financial services needs of a large section of Indian society. So it is mainly in the informal and the underserved sectors in the rural, semi-urban as well as urban areas. They intend to give a big boost to inclusive and accelerated growth of the economy. The approach will be digital first to reduce the cost of services and expand the reach to every citizen. SMEs, merchants and self-employed entrepreneurs over there, the ease of doing business must mean that ease in borrowing, investment as well as payment solutions to be provided to these categories. So JFS has announced a JV with BlackRock to set up an AMC or a mutual fund business. In payments, JFS will consolidate its payments infrastructure for customers as well as merchants. So they will explore path-breaking features such as blockchain-based platforms as well as CBDC. So JFS will enter the insurance segment to offer simple life, general as well as health insurance products through digital interface, potentially partnering with global players over there. The reasons for JFS achieving tremendous success over the next few years, as per the release, is that a digital first architecture of JFS will give it an unmatched head start to reach millions of customers or millions of Indians. Highly capital intensive business, that is why RIL has capitalized JFS with a net worth of rupees 1.2 lakh crore, which is the world's highest capitalized financial services platforms at the inception. So strong board of JFS, there is highly motivated leadership team over there as well. Back to you.
All right, Abhishek, thanks a lot for that. Let's slip into a quick break. We'll be back with all the other headlines in just a bit. Welcome back. The fourth headline today, the Reserve Bank has asked non-banking financial companies to remain vigilant about the high growth in the unsecured lending space. Sources say that the central bank has sought to know from NBFCs where the demand for unsecured loans was emanating from. Rahul Singh gets us more. Rahul, over to you.
Well, some of the largest NBFCs in the ecosystem, whether it is Bajaj Finance or Piramal Capital, have publicly expressed concerns about the high spurt in unsecured retail lending, and that hasn't really gone unnoticed by the regulator either, because we've been given to understand that in a meeting with NBFC CEOs last week at the RBI headquarters, the regulator did take note of this high growth in the unsecured lending portfolio of NBFCs and asked them to remain vigilant on it. We were also given to understand from people that were part of the meeting that the regulator wanted to know where this sudden spurt in demand was coming from, especially post-COVID, and whether a lot of it was led by fintechs. The messaging was clear: in good times, don't let down your guards and remain vigilant and provide prudently on this portfolio. This is something that the RBI will closely watch out for. Remember, unsecured retail lending as a part of overall retail portfolio of NBFCs has already crossed 16.4% compared to, say, 11-12% pre-COVID, and it is expected to rise further this year, as per some reports, to 18% or so of the overall retail lending portfolio. So it is a significant portion of their loans, and therefore RBI has advised NBFCs to remain vigilant.
Okay, well, the fifth headline today in some stock-specific news, Bharat Heavy Electronics, Bharat Electronics and BEML gained in today's trading session after they bagged new orders worth nearly 2,000 to 3,000 crore rupees. Vivek is here to give us the details. Vivek, over to you.
A slew of order wins kept different stock abuzz in today's trading session. First on our list was Bharat Electronics. The company received new orders worth 3,300 crores in the month of July as well as August. And Morgan Stanley has written a note on this particular development. They say that these order wins are in addition to the orders worth over 8,000 crores that the company received in Q1. So the total order inflow are now at 11,400 crores, and this constitutes almost 57% of the stated guidance of the company as far as order inflow is concerned for FY24. The next stock on our radar, the next company is BHEL. The company has received an order from NHPC worth over 2,200 crores, and the order is to be executed over the next 75 months. Morgan Stanley has written a note on BHEL as well. They say that the company has received 2 orders last week in the power segment, and the total value of both of these orders is over 6,200 crores. And lastly, the stock on the radar is BEML. The company has received an export order from a Russian company for a BEML dozer. Now, this particular order contract is worth $19.71 million. The contract is to be executed in different phases starting from August 2023.
All right, thanks a lot, Vivek, for that. Well, some of the other headlines that we're tracking, shares of Manappuram Finance rose in trade, snapping a 6-day losing streak. This after the Kerala High Court quashed the money laundering case against Managing Director VP Nandakumar. Remember, the Enforcement Directorate froze Nandakumar's assets worth 143 crore rupees after it conducted raids as part of an investigation in a money laundering case. And Brightcom fell close to 5% after the firm announced a major change in its leadership. Chairman and MD Suresh Reddy and CFO Narayana Raju have resigned from their posts. The decision came after market regulator SEBI found lapses in the company's preferential issue of shares. In fact, it also barred both the chairman and the CFO from continuing their position until further notice. Brightcom has approved the commencement of a search for a new CEO and CFO. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Markets Today. Stay tuned for more news and updates.